Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause.
Seti, the seed of reality. The midday sun over the Nile was a forge of fire, hammering the earth. Seti walked along the paths bordering the cultivated fields, right on the thin, treacherous frontier where the fertility of the valley surrenders to the relentless thirst of the desert. As he moved, the friction of his sandals against the parched ground produced a harsh sound that seemed to resonate with his own spirit. He stopped, wiping sweat from his forehead, and fixed his gaze on the neighboring fields. There, the wheat swayed with a golden elegance, and the palm trees, laden with heavy, sweet dates, stood like monuments to abundance. Then, he looked down at his own plot of land. What he found there were not fruits, but twisted thorns and problems that seemed to sprout from the earth with an incomprehensible stubbornness. "Why does fortune punish me with such cruelty?" Seti exclaimed toward the horizon, his voice broken by frustration. "I work until my hands bleed, and yet misfortune always finds me, like a hound on my trail. Destiny must be a blind god, a cruel gambler tossing loaded dice over our heads. Everything is chance, and I have only had the worst of luck." Bitterness prevented him from seeing beyond his own shadow. But as he looked up, he stopped before the presence of an elderly sower. The man worked with infinite calm, depositing small, dark grains into furrows traced with surgical precision. He did not look to the sky imploring miracles, nor did he curse the hardness of the earth. He looked at the soil with the absolute certainty of someone who knows a secret language. "Tell me, old man," Seti said, approaching with heavy steps, "how can you be so calm under this merciless sun? Do you not fear that chance will destroy your harvest in a single night? Do you not fear that tomorrow destiny will decide that poison should grow here instead of bread?" The sower stood up slowly, allowing his muscles to rest. With a composure that both irritated and fascinated Seti, the man opened his palm, revealing a handful of seeds. "Chance, young Seti, is only the name men give to a law they refuse to understand," the old man replied, his voice sounding like the wind through the reeds. He pointed a bony finger toward a gigantic sycamore tree, whose canopy offered a shade so dense and cool it seemed like an oasis in the middle of the path. "Do you truly believe that this tree, with its deep roots and eternal shade, is there by an accident of nature? Do you think the desert decided, by some divine whim, that wood and freshness should sprout in this place? That tree is the direct result of a seed placed there 100 years ago. There is no effect without a cause, just as there is no fruit without a seed." Seti looked down at the thorns growing at his feet, feeling a chill that did not come from the wind. "Are you telling me that I have sown my own misfortune? Listen well to the law that governs from the smallest grain of sand to the movement of the stars." The old man continued, taking a step toward him. "Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to the law. Chance is nothing more than the name of a law you have not yet recognized. You see your problems as external attacks of fate, but they are nothing more than the ripe fruits of the seeds you planted yesterday in your mental plane. Every thought is a seed. Every action is irrigation. You have sown fear, and that is why you reap paralysis. You have sown doubt, and that is why your life is a tangle of confusion. There are no dice in the hands of the gods, Seti. There are scales. Seti felt a new weight in his chest, one that was far heavier than his misfortune. The weight of total responsibility. But, strangely, he also felt an electric freedom running down his spine. If he was the sower, he was no longer a victim at the mercy of the wind. He asked with a firm voice, "Do I have the power to change my future harvest?" Most men are dragged along by the causes others sowed for them. They are slaves to their heritage, their environment, and the impulses they do not question. But the initiate rises above the masses. He decides which seeds to place in the furrow of his mind. He does not wait to see what destiny brings him. He deliberately becomes the cause of his own destiny. Seti knelt on the earth, sinking his fingers into it, feeling the texture of life beneath his skin. He understood, in that moment, that every word he spoke and every thought he harbored was a contract signed with the future. He would no longer look at others' granaries with envy, but would guard his own mind with a sacred discipline. He closed his eyes, not to flee from reality, but to visualize the life he desired. He saw it, clear and firm, not as a distant dream, but as a seed he was planting at that very instant in the soil of his consciousness. Do not curse your harvest. Check your sowing. Because in the garden of existence, nothing is born without permission. Become the cause, and the universe, obedient to the law, will take care of delivering the fruit to you.
Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. You are nothing more than the ripe fruits of the seeds you planted yesterday in your mental plane.